Hello, lovelies. Mama Maggie here, and this is not a Hold My Coffee 2021 update. This is actually a video that was requested. So I'm going to do little short segments, and I will put up some word plates to talk about. This is going to be about my writing style. Um, a very long time ago, back in 1992. Yes, I'm dating myself. I was in college and I took what's called a May-mester for an American Contemporary Literature class. And May-mesters are this little tiny compressed college course where you do the entire semester's coursework in 18 days. So in 92, I took a May-mester on American Contemporary Literature. And the next year, I took a May-mester on novel writing. And you're like, you can't write a novel in 18 days. Well, we weren't really doing novels. We were doing short story-ish kind of things. The professor's target was 15,000 words. I got nearly 30. So my usual overachiever finished the task, OCD kind of a thing, really kicked in. The May-mester um, was challenging, horrifying. 4 hours of classwork, 5 days a week, and 4 to 10 hours of homework, 5 days a week. So my professor called this her system. She called it building the tree or writing the tree. So you build a tree to write it. And on day one, we did characters and world building. So on day one was when we learned, this is who we're going to write about. We're writing about this person. And then we did this, well, this is going to happen in this world. And are we having a world parallel to our world? Is it a fantasy world? Is it a science fiction world? And that's where we just figured it out. And that was day one. So then we had day two. Come back in, everybody's got their notebooks and all these piles of paper and stuff. And day two through day 10, so the first week and a half, 2 weeks of class, she had us giving us prompts every day. We were writing scenes, interaction scenes, action scenes, fight scenes, romance scenes, pretty much anything you can think of where your antagonist, your main character, their side characters, and your antagonist and the antagonist side characters. Everybody had a posse. That was her thing. Got together, interacted, how they overacted, and we were just writing scenes. We weren't even like to a plotting place. Um, but it was about how do these characters live in this world together? How do they get along? How do they interact? And it was a very interesting experience because it was like she's the one who got me started on the um, characters have tics, and some characters don't mind that they have a tick and other characters do. In our real lives we encounter people all the time, and something they do just drives us crazy. The laundry basket is right there. Put your socks in the laundry basket, not in front of the shower. That you know it's or somebody like, who was it, someone in my class, their thing was they clicked a pen constantly, click 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 constantly, and literally by the second week of class, one of our other classmates took his pen and winged it across the room. And having little details and little things like that in with characters really kind of gives them some life. It gives them this depth. Like, I have a character who hates cake, which is funny because his love interest is a baker, a wedding cake artist. Cake is her thing. He hates cake. So little things like that. It just little details where, you have someone in, you don't like cake, you're not normal. And it creates a pattern of interaction that is more believable. So, day 2 through 10, write interaction scenes, action scenes, fight scenes, romance scenes, just anything you can think of. All right. Day 11 through day 14. This was the third week of class, and this is where we had all of our little loose sheets of paper. And this was sadly, this was 93. It was in the time before people had laptops. A lot of people didn't have computers. Believe it or not, there were a lot of people who didn't have computers. And so we all had laptops, and instead of laptops, we had three ring binders. So we had all of our papers, and this is where we took the scenes and we began to put them into a story order, and we actually built the plot. So we have the trunk of the tree, which is our character and world build. And then out here we have all of these leaves, which are all of the scenes that we have already created. And now it's time to put in the branches. So we took the stories and put them here and there. I mean, we were in this huge lecture hall, so people were laying out their papers, they were writing numbers on them, moving around. It was a thing. And we did this for 3 solid days, 12 hours of class time, and then everyone pick up their papers, take it out. I was married to my first husband at the time. He came home and I had paper all over the living room of our little tiny apartment. And he was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm building a novel." And he just looked at me like I was a loony. So, but that's what we did. And and it's like, would this scene work here or would it work better here? What's the flow of the story? And so we kind of backwards created. And for people who are plotters, there were people who were like plot people in my class, and this was driving them crazy because they wanted to write the plot, then the characters, and our instructor, she kind of was, I found her fabulous. A lot of people said she was a flake, but I'm kind of a flake myself. So that was day 11 through 14. And the thing that we started to do, and this is the thing, is she didn't want us to write the filler scenes yet. The fill-in scenes, that was saved for the next that weekend. It was go home, write your filler scenes, because we would have a blank piece of paper with something written on it, put in car chase here, put in phone call here, and just setting it out. And then we'd have our big, thick 3-inch 3-ring binder. And so the third weekend of class, that was our job, was write the filler scenes. Okay, after we finished laying out our notebooks, writing in our filler scenes, creating a plot, putting everything together for the days 11 through 14, um, then we went back and we had to, on days 15 and 16, was hunt down and fix the continuity errors. Now, the continuity error, the one that I remember, because this was a really long time ago, the one I remember was um, the fight with the mother-in-law came after the baby shower. So the bestie couldn't talk to the MC about it during the baby shower. So that was something that I had to fix. The other thing I think I had to fix was when the um, was it? Oh, the tea shop. They went to have tea at the Japanese tea shop, and the continuity error that I had was I had a Chinese tea ceremony instead of a Japanese tea ceremony. So a little bit different, just a little, a little thing, but for my mind, I needed to fix it. Um, so that was day 15 and 16, was literally reading the entire manuscript in the order that I put it in with the filler things, adjusting the ends of scenes and beginnings of scenes so that they actually fit together. so that the branches of my trees, I have this branch and those scenes are the leaves. So I'd have, I couldn't have the leaves that were all on this branch had to go together. So I had to make sure that I didn't have like a really far out there scene, like the baby shower scene, where before the fight happened. So the baby shower, the fight that happened and the discussion that happened before the fight, I actually ended up moving it to and writing like a like a birthday party promotion scene. I wrote some other little party thing and they were at lunch. So there was so I didn't really have to shift the scene that much. It just the discussion about the fight didn't happen at the baby shower party because I moved it because the fight happened at the baby shower. And that was day 15 and 16. Okay, so day 17, we had to type everything in, which was kind of a nightmare for me because I don't type very fast. Not very fast at all. I I can type 15 words a minute if I'm like transcribing. If I'm just like cold writing, like there's a tool on the NaNoWriMo site that when you're putting in your word counts for a period of time, it will tell me you how many words per minute. And I normally run about 6, 7 words a minute. I'm like I said, I don't type fast. So day 17, typed it all up, and then we all switched out chapters and beta read, like kind of beta read, not grammar editing or anything like that, but just like you read a part and you're like, this is what I like about these characters, this is what I don't like about these characters. And we did a summary, like here's the summary of my book. So everyone was looking at that. On day 18 is when we had to hand it in, we had to type it all up and make 5 copies. Now they they wanted us to get 10 to 15,000 words, and by the time I got all of my filler done, all of my merging done, everything in it done, I was almost to 30,000 words. It was a lot. So my book was like twice as thick as everyone else's. But, we all traded out and we all turned them in and everybody took 5. And we had to go home, read one a day, write a critique of it, and those we had to actually take back to the college and turn in 5 days after the semester was over, the critiques. And then the professor, she was so sweet, she was great. She gave us all our critiques back. She gave us, here is a copy of your novelette that you wrote, and here is your critique papers. And so that was my experience learning to write the tree. In review, I'm going to put up a little letter thing that you can read and you can see what it's like with all the steps on it, and I'll put it down below too. So you don't have to worry about pausing for too long. So we'll pause here and read the steps. All right. So we built our trunk. The world building becomes the roots because that's the foundation. Your trunks is your character and your world building grows up. You create your leaves, which are your scenes, and you sort them throughout and you put the scenes that go together onto branches. These scenes over here and these scenes over here and these scenes up here, and the branches run together for the plot. That it's kind of a I like putting things in order. I'm kind of OCD about it, but making sure everything's in its place. And so the way I write, just intuitively and creatively write, is completely the opposite way from what I do as an organized person. And I know part of it's my stroke has affected this, that um, it's affected the way I perceive things and I do things. But one of the things that Everyone's always excited to learn new kind of writing methods. And like I said, I took this class in 1993, and my professor was, I cannot remember her name, but she was probably 65 or 70. She was this old hippie flower girl with this white hair that she would wear in this huge bun on top of her head, or she would just have this big silver mane. And she would walk around in these flowery skirts and shawls, and she was so fun. And you know, it to do 15 to 30,000 words in 18 days, 4 hours of class a day, 4 to 10 hours of homework, 5 days a week plus weekends, and to fill a 3-inch 3-ring binder was a lot of notebook paper. But that was the way I learned to write stories. And now that I'm retired with a stroke and, you know, trying to distract myself with the worlds in my mind, that's how I write. Um, and it's I people who are plotters probably find it crazy. People who are pantsers probably find it too constricting. I'm a plantser. I plot and plan and pants, and it works for me. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day. And when things happen, remember, don't be bitter, be better. Bye.